This is my beginning algebra course. Today we're going to learn how to multiply binomials. If you haven't done the homework completely and correctly from the last class, do that homework before watching this video. Now, in the last class we learned about polynomials, and binomials are a special type of polynomial. Now, this is a binomial, and this is a binomial, because they have two terms. Bi means two. And the parentheses are here because we're multiplying the two binomials. You should also be aware that multiplying binomials is also called expanding binomials, so that's why it says expand. Now we're going to use a special algorithm to multiply binomials, and that algorithm is named after the acronym that tells you how to do it, and that algorithm is called FOIL. So let's get right into it. FOIL means you're going to multiply the first terms. So these are considered the first terms in each binomial. So if you consider this binomial, the first term is 2x. And if you consider this binomial, the first term is 4x. So that's what it means to multiply the first terms. So we're going to go ahead and do that. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. Now we're going to go to O. O means multiply the outside terms. Now if you look at this entire expression, the outside terms would be considered these two terms because they're on the ends of the expression. So we're going to multiply those two terms, 2x times 7, and we get 14x. Now we're going to go to the I of the acronym, so that means multiply the inside terms. That's these two. 3 times 4x is 12x. Then we're going to go to L, and L stands for last terms. So the last term in this binomial is 3, and the last term in this binomial is 7. So we multiply 3 times 7, and we get 21. Now at this point, we're almost done, but you see we have two like terms. We talked about like terms in the previous class, so we can actually add those up. And our final answer is going to be 8x squared, and 14x plus 12x is 26x. And then we just rewrite the 21, and then we're done. So when you multiply those two binomials, you end up with what's called a trinomial, because there's three terms. Also, I didn't mention that the proof of this algorithm just involves distribution, the distributive rule. So you would take this and you would distribute. But I'm not going to bore you with that proof. Most students don't know it, they don't remember it, they don't care about it. So you're not going to use it. So I'm not going to bore you with that. All right, so let's try a couple more of these before you try some on your own. Again, we have the FOIL up here, so 6y times 8y is 48y squared. That's F of FOIL, and then O of FOIL is 6y times negative 3, which is negative 18y. And then I of FOIL is 4 times 8y, which is 32y. And then L of FOIL is 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. All right, so let me just double check that. In fact, let me double check the previous one, make sure I did everything correct there. Yep, that looks correct. I don't want to confuse you right off the bat. 48y squared, 18y, 32y, and negative 12. So now, again, we have like terms here. It's not always going to be the case that you're going to have like terms, but in most problems where you have to multiply binomials, these two terms are going to be like terms. So we can go ahead and add those up and turn that expression into a trinomial. So negative 18 plus 32, that would be 14. And we just write the negative 12, and there you go. So that's the answer. So as you can see, the class today is going to be pretty easy. There's going to be some slightly harder problems, but nothing really nothing too bad. All right. So again, we're going to use FOIL. Z times 3z is 3z squared. Again, z times 3z. And outside term, z times 2 is 2z. Inside terms, negative 5 times 3z is negative 15z. And negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And now all we have to do is simplify. So add the like terms in the middle. 2z minus 15z is negative 13z. And then we have negative 10. You just rewrite the negative 10, and you're done. So if you'd like to try number 4, you can go ahead and do that, or you can just watch me do it. But for those who want to try it, go ahead and attempt that problem, pause the video, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. And negative 7 times 2x is negative 14x. And negative 7 times negative 5 is positive 35. And then, of course, we just want to simplify, so we get negative 24x in the middle. And if you got that answer, good job. All right, so number 5. You should definitely attempt this one on your own now. I guess I can bring this acronym down if you want to still use this acronym. But as long as you know how to spell FOIL, you shouldn't really need to keep that there. So try number 5, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Y times y is y squared. Y times 4 is 4y. 2 times y is 2y. And 2 times 4 is 8. So 4y plus 2y is 6y. And there you go. So if you got that answer, good job. Why don't you take a screenshot of FOIL, because I'm going to go ahead and erase that. And again, as long as you know how to spell it, you should be able to do it. So try number 6, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. 6z times z is 6z squared. 6z times negative 1 is negative 6z. 7 times z is 7z. And 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. And negative 6z plus 7z is 1z, but we don't write the 1. We just write z. Not 1z, just z. If you write 1z, it's not wrong. It's just not traditional to write a 1 as a coefficient. All right, so if you got the right answer there, good job. Try number 7, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Got some big numbers on this one. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, try number 8, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. First terms, outside terms, inside terms, last terms. And again, we're multiplying. This is all about multiplication. Except the last step when we just combine by addition. Again, that's the condensed form of adding 2 negatives. So let me just double check that, make sure everything's right, everything looks good. And the final answer. So if you got that as your final answer, good job. All right, try number 9, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. First terms, outside terms, inside terms, last terms, and there you go. So we're done multiplying. Now we just have to simplify the polynomial. And there you go. So if you got that answer, good job. Try number 10, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Now we just have to simplify. And there you go. All right, number 11. Go ahead and try that one, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, try number 12, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, try number 13, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. So if you got that answer, good job. Now number 14 is going to be a little different because the forms of these polynomials are different. And the reason that most of these polynomials have a similar form is because this is the type of polynomial you're going to see mostly in this course and in most courses following this course. But I just want you to be aware that you can multiply a lot of different types of polynomials. The difference is we have a squared term here. So let's do this one together. Multiply the first terms and you get 8x cubed. Now we have cubed because, again, notice that all these problems, they have the same form. They have a squared term at the beginning. The variable is squared, and then they have a first power term in the middle and a regular number as the last number, and so on and so forth. All right, so 8x cubed. So now we have a cubed term. That's unusual. Last terms. And inside terms. And then, wait, did I say last terms? I meant outside terms. Sorry, whatever. 8x cubed, 12x squared, 18x. That looks correct. So now that's our answer. That's our answer because we cannot combine the two inner terms. They're unlike terms. One term has a second power on the variable, and another term has a first power. Again, it's considered to be a first power, even though we don't really write the first power. You're going to figure out why it's considered to be a first power in intermediate algebra. But you're not going to worry about that in this class. So why don't you try number 15, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back, so multiply the first terms and the outside terms. And the inside terms. And the last term, and you can see that we don't have any like terms, so that's our answer. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, so now we're going to do something slightly different. We have something raised to the second power. So remember, if you raise something to the second power, for example, x to the second power, that just means x times x, and you can use parentheses or you can use a dot, but you're just multiplying x by itself. So when you see this expression, that means you're multiplying the inside part, which is 2y plus 5, by itself. And as you can see, that just reduces to the same problems that we were doing before. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that because I feel like I'm going to run out of room. So I'm going to try to write that smaller. Alright, so we put it in that form, and then we just use FOIL again. So 2y times 2y is 4y squared, so on and so forth. I think you get the point. And 25. And then we just combine like terms and get the final answer. So as you can see, that's an easy problem. It's just like all the other problems pretty much, with just one extra step. So let's do another one. Again, raising something to the second power just means you're multiplying it by itself. So that's what we're doing here. We're changing it to 6c minus 5 times 6c minus 5. We're not really changing it, we're just writing it in a different form. And then we just use FOIL. These problems are kind of special because notice that the inner terms are always the same, and they're always like terms. Well, at least with these types of problems, they're not always like terms. Actually, I think they always would. They would be like terms. Well, it doesn't really matter. Whatever. All right. So let me just double check that. So on and so forth. And now we just have to combine like terms. Kind of running out of room here, but I think I'm going to be okay. So again, it's just the same type of problem, just in a condensed form. When the two factors are the same, 6c is the same as 6c, then you can write it in power notation. So why don't you try number 18, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Nine x times 9x is 81x squared, and so on and so forth. Final answer is 81x squared plus 18x plus 1. And there you go. Number 19. Go ahead and try 19. Whoops, I almost did it. I almost did it without letting you do it. Go ahead and try 19, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. And by the way, in case you're wondering, we can do this a little faster, but it's important to learn the steps before you go into the faster methods. You can actually skip this step when you get into later classes, but I don't want to skip this step because I might confuse you. You need to learn how to use FOIL properly before we start skipping steps. All right, so if you got that problem correct, good job. Try number 20, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Now, when you see a negative x, that means negative 1x. So that's negative 1x times negative 1x, which would be positive x squared, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative x times 3 is negative 3x, so on and so forth. And there you go. So if you got that answer, good job. And my rectangles don't look very symmetric, but it's not really that important. All right, so now we're going to go to binomials that have different variables. We have a's and we have b's. You're not going to see these very often, but you will see some of these in upper math courses and sometimes even science courses and engineering courses. So let's do these. Multiply the first terms. Again, f is the first terms. FOIL is FOIL. 2a times 3a is 6a squared. Then we do 2a times 4b, which is 8ab. And it doesn't matter if you write 8ba or 8ab. 8ba and 8ab are the same thing. Then you're going to multiply the inner terms. 5b times 3a is 15ab. I'm just writing the a first because I like writing the a first on those. And then 5b times 4b, those are the last terms. Again, we're just using FOIL. That's what today is all about, pretty much, is FOIL. 20b squared. And then we just add like terms. Now, we do have like terms. We have ABs. This is AB and this is AB, so we can add those up. It's like saying if you have 8 sandwiches and you add 15 sandwiches, you have, whatever that is. That would be 23 sandwiches. So that would be 23AB. And we just add that 20b squared and we're done with that one. So again, as you can see, this class is really pretty easy at this point. Now, math is going to get, as you go up into the more advanced concepts, it's going to get harder. But we're starting off with very, very easy stuff. Now, you may complain that this is boring. I understand that it might be boring, but there is no excuse when it comes to the difficulty, because this is really not difficult. All right, so why don't you try 22, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. G times 6g is 6g squared, and so on and so forth. And there you go. So, if you got that answer, good job. Try number 23, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Again, you don't really have to write these x and y's in order. You can put yx over here and xy over here, or it doesn't really matter because of the commutative rule of multiplication, which we learned in my arithmetic course. And the last term's 2y squared. Let's just double check that, make sure everything is correct. Looks like it's correct. Then we just have to add like terms. Negative 3xy plus 2xy is negative xy. And there's no 1 coefficient because, again, it's just traditional to leave the 1 off if it's a 1 coefficient. And minus 2y squared, and that's the final answer. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, so now we've got... and by the way, you're probably wondering, why are we doing this? I mean, why do we keep doing problem after problem after problem? Well, these problems are particularly important when it comes to upper math. I don't know if I mentioned that, but these problems are extremely important. You're going to be doing these thousands and thousands and thousands of times over again. All right, so now we have a problem with more than one variable again, but we just have a power notation because you're multiplying two binomials that are the same. So 2r minus 5t times 2r minus 5t. So we just write it in that form, and then we go ahead and expand. First terms, outside terms, inside terms, and last terms. So let's double check that, make sure everything's correct. Everything looks correct. And now we just have to combine like terms. So I'm going to shrink this because I'm running out of room. Alright, so equals 4r squared minus 20rt plus 25t squared. So we're just doing variations of problems where we're multiplying binomials. Again, extremely important concept when it comes to algebra. All right, so why don't you try 25, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. And our final answer and we just rectangle that and we're done. So if you got that answer, good job. Now notice how I wrote yx instead of xy. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's probably best that you use the same order just so you can recognize that they're like terms. But other than that, it really doesn't matter how you write it. All right, so on to, well, this is going to be the last thing we're going to learn today. We're going to learn how to multiply a binomial by a trinomial. Now this is not nearly as important as everything we just did. So we may only do a few of these problems because I don't want you to, I don't want the focus to be pulled away from, multiplying binomials, which is, or that is multiplying two binomials, which is what's the most important thing that we're learning today. But you will get this special case where you have to multiply a binomial by a trinomial. So when you do that, you're not going to use FOIL. FOIL only works for multiplying binomials, or two binomials. But when you're multiplying a binomial by a trinomial, here's how we do it. So you're going to take 5x and you're going to multiply 5x by everything in the trinomial. Then you're going to take 1 and multiply that by everything in the trinomial. And then you'll be done. And that's how it works. So we could multiply a trinomial by a trinomial, or a polynomial with 4 terms times a polynomial with 3 terms, and we could just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it wouldn't take very long before these problems would start to become ridiculous as far as how long they would take, so I'm not going to do that to you. So I might give you a problem where you multiply a trinomial by a trinomial, but anything bigger than that, and it would start to get ridiculously tedious and long. So we're going to multiply 5x times everything in the trinomial. So let's do it. So 5x times 2x squared is 10x cubed, and 5x times negative 6x is negative 30x squared, and 5x times 3 is 15x. So we're done multiplying the 5x. Now let's move on to the 1. 1 times 2x squared is 2x squared, and 1 times negative 6x is negative 6x, and 1 times 3 is 3. So that's how it works. Now all we have to do is simplify. Let's double check that, make sure we did everything correctly. Looks like everything's correct. So now we have to combine like terms, and it looks like we have like terms in the blue, and we have like terms in the yellow. So we'll just rewrite that first term, 10x cubed, There's no other cube term, so we can't combine that, and we'll add the negative 30x squared plus 2x squared is negative 28x squared. 15x minus 6x is 9x. And that is the final answer. All right, so let's try a couple more of these together before you try one on your own. Now this is getting a little tricky here because I tried to trick us here. I put the binomial on the right side, but it doesn't really matter. You can use the same principle. So you multiply y times all these terms in the polynomial, the trinomial, and then you multiply 3 times all these. Also, you should be aware that you can multiply this term by these two terms, and then this term by these two terms. Whoops, sorry. And then you can multiply this term by these two terms. That's another way to do it, but I'm going to stick with the first way. I don't want to confuse you. So y times all these terms. We're going to do that first. So y times 5y squared is 5y cubed. Y times 6y is 6y squared. Y times negative 2 is negative 2y. Then we're going to switch to the 3. So 3 times 5y squared is 15y squared. 3 times 6y is 18y. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. All right, so let's double check that. Everything looks right. So now we just have to simplify. And there you go. So if you'd like to try one on your own, why don't you go ahead and try number 28, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. Z times 3z squared is 3z cubed. Z times 6z is 6z squared. Z times negative 8 is negative 8z. So we're done with the z. Now we're going to move on to the negative 2. And by the way, you never multiply a term by another term in the same polynomial. For example, you'd never multiply these two together because they're in the same polynomial. Another example is you'd never multiply these two together because they're in the same polynomial. You'd never multiply these two together because they're in the same polynomial. You're never going to do that. So anyway, let's multiply negative 2 times all these terms now. So negative 2 times 3z squared is negative 6z squared. Negative 2 times 6z is negative 12z. And negative 2 times negative 8 is positive 16. So now we just have to combine like terms. Looks like the z squared terms cancel out. And that would be the final answer. So if you got that answer, good job. So let's just double check that. It's always good to double check your work. It's so easy to make a mistake in algebra. So everything looks correct. All right, so let's go on to the next problem. If you got that problem right, good job. Try 29, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. 2x squared times 4x is 8x cubed. 4x times x is 4x squared. Whoops, that looks like a 9. 4x squared. And 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x. So now we're done with the 4x. So now we're going to move on to the negative 3. Negative 3 times 2x squared is negative 6x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. So we're done multiplying. Double check everything, make sure it's correct. All right, so let's simplify. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, so let's see here. I don't know if we're going to do all these problems, but maybe we'll do 2 more. Again, I want you to focus on FOIL in this class. FOIL is the most important thing. So let's just do 2 more of these, and hopefully you'll have what you need to do the homework. So again, this class, as you can see, was not too bad of a class. It was fairly simple. All right, so try number 30, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. 2y times 3y squared is 6y cubed. And I'm just going to do this without talking. Now we'll move on to the negative 5. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, try 31, and when you come back, we'll do it together. All right, we're back. So if you got that answer, good job. All right, so that was the class today. Again, we could do these last 2 problems, but I don't want the focus to be taken off the FOIL concept. This is all the work that we did today. If you'd like to take screenshots of these pages to help you with your homework or to study for tests, go ahead and do that now. But don't go before you get your homework. Here's the homework. Get a screenshot of these 2 pages, and notice you have the answers. Be sure to check all your answers. It's not enough just to do the homework. You have to do it correctly and do all the problems. Remember, your homework has to have those 4 characteristics. It has to be complete, correct, neat, and in order in your binder. And also, I didn't mention in the last class, be sure to write your name and the date and the course. These are all just basic things that you need to do to keep your work in order and also have a title. So get that homework done, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next class.